Hello, and this is the Manchurian General. Now today we're going to be talking about a particular type of helmet. You can, it goes by, actually I don't even know, I couldn't find what it's actually called, but we're going to call it the Shishak style of helmet. Now, the Shishak style technically refers to the Ottoman and Eastern European helmets from the 16th to 17th century, but we're gonna go. I have no other way of referring to the helmet we're gonna be talking about in this video. So we're gonna call it the Shishak helmet or the East Asian Shishak. Now, this particular helmet, you've probably seen it before. If you looked around, like if you try looking at like a Chinese armor, Mongolian armor, Korean armor, that sort of thing, you most likely ran into his helmet style before. I'll flash a couple of up on the screen. Now, what is the deal with this helmet? Why do these four groups, the Mongols, the Chinese, the Koreans, and the Manchus, why do these four ethnic groups use this particular style of helmet? Because it has to be good. Otherwise, it will have fallen out of favor a long time ago. Damn, it's raining hard out there. Nice little background noise, I guess. But yeah, this particular helmet, like this particular style of helmet, from what I can gather, originated sometime in the 13th century. In somewhere during the Great Mongol Empire. But after the Mongol Empire fell, it spread throughout like the majority of Eastern Asia. It still stayed in the Mongol territories. So you can say that the origins of this helmet also originated in Central Asia. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So this helmet, this particular helmet, there's two particular styles of this one general style of helmet that is prevalent in East Asia. But we'll get to that later. Now, who used these helmets? Let's be more specific. Which kingdoms, which empires, which dynasties used this helmet? Well, I'll tell you. The Mongols, the Yuan Dynasty, which is also the Mongols, but two different names. The Ming Dynasty, the Joseon Dynasty of Korea, the Qing Dynasty. Did I say the Ming Dynasty? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said. But anyway, these four. Well, technically, no, it's four, because the Yuan Dynasty was still the Mongols, except they ruled China, but then they got pushed out, but they still used the helmet. You get what I mean? But yeah, the Mongols, the Manchus, or Jurchens, if you want to go with their earlier name, but it's late Jurchens, not the early ones from during the Song Dynasty. No, that helmet didn't exist yet. It existed later. So this particular helmet was used by these four cultures. Why is that? Well, we won't really know. We don't really know. I mean, why does the Western Europeans use the bassinets? Why did they stick with the bassinet for the amount of time that they did? Because it was a good design. It was a good design helmet. So you can apply that same principle to this particular helmet. What are the styles of this? Actually, no. Before we go into the styles of helmet, what are the characteristics of this helmet? Now that's a good question. Now, these helmets are generally they have cheek pieces, right? They have side pieces that you attach either by a strap or if we're going by Qing Dynasty standards, depending on the design, it's attached to the neck guard and you attach it through a tie. But more commonly, it's just attached through a strap. Now these cheek pieces could be either padded, like a pseudo coif, but it's not coif. It's padded pieces. I think that's more generally along the lines of the Korean version of it. But usually it's brigandine style. Same thing with the back piece, because that's the second characteristic. It has a back piece, cheek plates, Sometimes, depending on which culture we're talking about, mainly the Qing Dynasty, we'll have the pieces connected via have it connected to a neck piece that you button up on the front. That's also another way to at least differentiate of who's who. But they also have a brim around like this part. So when you wear the helmet, there'll be a brim like right here. It's not a long brim. Well, it depends which. The Qing Dynasty at least tend to have a shorter brim, but the Koreans, the Joseon, tend to have a somewhat longer brim. Okay. Imagine this is like the front. The brim would for a Korean shishak, it'll be like generally like this long to like the normal style to maybe even this long in some cases. The Mongol, it's generally more of a modest style. Now, but another thing they have in common is the top piece that they use to attach ornaments on. The ornaments vary, of course. Even within the same groups, the ornamentations change depending on whether it's a ceremonial version, a battlefield version, if it's early in the dynasty or if it's late in the dynasty. This particularly goes with the Qing Dynasty, because as we know, they stopped using armor during the during the 1800s. Reason being, it just became impractical because of stuff like firearms, artillery, the ever-changing scope of warfare. Understandable reasons, but they still kept it in a ceremonial aspect. The armors of the late Qing Dynasty were ceremonial, because you wouldn't really want to use it on the battlefield, because remember, it's the late Qing Dynasty, and firearms have gotten pretty advanced for what they were just over 100 years ago, so armor really ain't gonna save you. Now, there are generally two distinct styles of the general style of this helmet. There's the bullet style. It's like a shape of a bullet, hence the name, the bullet style. It probably wasn't actually called the bullet style helmet. It's probably just called a helmet, but it's like a bullet style. It's like generally rounded, more like a as the name implies, bullet style. The other version, it's the concave style. Is it the concave style? I have the things written here. Yeah, concave, which is like goes up, right, and then it goes inward and flares somewhere out on the very top where the before the rod sticks out for the attachment point of any ornaments. Who used which style? Well, the Mongols, the Koreans, and the Ming mainly use the bullet style. Mainly, that's their most common style. Concave versions don't really come around till technically the later Jin Kingdom, but then turned into the Qing Dynasty. Qing Dynasty were very big fans of the concave style. Why that over the bullet style? Well, no one really knows, but they did use both. The Qing Dynasty did use both styles, albeit it depends on who used them. The emperors of the Qing Dynasty, when they were in armor, tend to favor tend to go either way. But from what I've seen from pictures, it's more like they prefer the dome style, and recovered armors from like the princes, the emperors, and all that. They're more dome, they're more bullet shaped than concave. Concave, you can generally see more in like the lower ranked officers, commanders, sometimes the generals, actually most of the general paintings you see. But it goes either way. It'll be like more general preference with the amount between the two. Now, who generally used these? Well, back in the Ming Dynasty, it was more like officers. The shishaks, the Ming shishak was mainly used generally by troops in the frontier up north, way north. So that's who used them. Sometimes you'll find them elsewhere, but they're mainly more focused in the north. That's where you'll find the most of these helmets, at least in the Ming Dynasty. Everywhere else in the Ming Dynasty, you either find a rattan helmet, especially in the south. Southern China in the Ming, or just Imperial China, and just China as a whole, is very humid down there. So if you'll find more like bamboo rattan helmets, because it's really good for the climate. Because it's way humid down there. Lots of jungle, very humid. Wouldn't be the best idea to wear armor, at least metal armor, because it'll get very hot very quickly. Now, for Korea, it's like the officers, same thing. Officers, commanders, and generals. The Mongols, it'll be those who can afford them, because the Mongols were still mostly a nomadic group. Soldiers who can afford them, commanders, and probably the khans of the various tribes around the area of Mongolia, because that's the Khan after all. Khan gets the best kit. Qing Dynasty, it was the officers, the bannermen, which was the the elite army of the Qing Dynasty. You will find a lot of those helmets in the bannerman armies, that and brigandines. Sometimes you'll find other armors, but it's mainly shishaks and brigandines. Concave helmets too, mostly. Generals will wear them, princes, sometimes the emperor. But yeah, that's all the information I got right here. Now, what would be the what is practical about this helmet? Well, let's see. You won't really have the flappage of any like pieces on the helmet. Well, maybe except for like the back piece, but the cheek pieces, the back piece, they're fairly sturdy enough to like not be flapping around. You'll probably see this problem with the earlier dynastic Chinese helmets. The ones with the lamar aventails. You'll probably see the problem of they'll be flopping around a bunch. Sure, they'll be secured. Don't get that twisted. They'll be secured, but they'll be flapping around more compared to if you have like cheek pieces strapped down, back pieces weighed against you, and I'm gonna call it a gorget. You can call it what piece you want. I don't know the actual Mandarin terms or Manchu terms or the Korean terms for these components of the armor. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Components. But yeah, that's an advantage I see. You probably want to take off the ornaments on the top of your helmet, because that'll be a bit of a hazard. But other than that, the dome piece, even the concave one, it'll probably be good for deflecting blows and stuff. I don't actually own a shishak helmet, neither the Qing Dynasty, Korea, or one of the 4 groups I mentioned before. I would like to own one, but I don't necessarily have. I don't have the funds to purchase one. I would love to though, but it is what it is. Same thing with the brigandines. I want to get me one of those too. But yeah, I don't want to drag this video any longer than I have to. I hope that the information that I gave you here is serviceable. And yeah, this is the Manchurian General. And if you like my content, I trust that you'll know what to do. And I'll see you next week. Peace out.